here we are. We are coming to you live from the Arcadian Services booth. My name is Matt DeWolf. I run MK Quinn Media, and I'm the host of Better Car Washing Everywhere, the podcast for car wash professionals and the car wash curious. Joining me today to talk in the Arcadian Services booth is Erric Walker with Rojo Reds out of Nashville. Eric, welcome.
Thank you.
So
glad to be here.
How's it going for you? How are we doing today?
Well, we're doing great. Talking about a lot of chemicals to people, selling a lot of chemicals, hopefully. Everything's fine.
Everything's good. Everything's gravy, right?
Everything's going well.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about just kind of how you ended up in this space and what your background was before that. So could you just give anybody that's watching or listening out here the brief backstory on how you came to be in this industry?
Well, a friend of mine was in the car wash industry, and at the time I was in food service, and John asked me, he said, Eric, why don't you come over here and I'll teach you the car wash industry. So I'm thinking, okay, John, because I was trying to find something with low stress, and that's how I got involved with car washes. Well,
was it low stress?
It started out low stress, and I am that personality type that once I get into something, I'm 100% in, both feet.
Yeah.
And so when Jim and I got into Rojo Red's car washes, instead of just running a business, I dove in full throat into the business. I want to know how everything worked, how the chemicals worked, if something went wrong, what do I look for? I wasn't just an operator. I wanted to know how everything worked. But like I said, that's my personality.
Yeah.
And I've done well.
Yeah. I mean, Eric, the only way you can do well in this business is if you do go all in, because you got to know what's going on. You got to pay attention to the little details.
Yes, you do.
And it's super important. Otherwise, you can't deliver on your customer promise.
Can't do it.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about kind of what's your wash mix? Is it single location, multiple locations? Give me a little bit of the backstory.
We actually have two locations. We have one in Hermitage and also one in Goodlettsville. The one in Hermitage is a 2 automatics with 6 self-service bays. The one in Goodlettsville is 2 automatics with a 4 self-service bays. Hermitage is, we just did a remodel on it. It's a 65-foot tunnel.
Okay, nice.
Right beside a 34-foot touchless wash.
Okay, so you're giving people options.
Both systems are, both systems are DNS. The 65-foot is a friction, and the 34 is a touchless.
Okay, so when you think about today's kind of market, right, everybody's gone heavy towards tunnel. Express tunnel. You've got these 130, 140-foot long tunnels. You're rocking a 65-foot tunnel. What's kind of the thinking for you? What do you think about kind of 65-foot versus the longer tunnels versus why stay in the kind of touchless space? Talk to me about that.
Well, the reason that I was more wanting to do, or Jim and I wanted to do a express tunnel, we wanted everything to still be self-service. We didn't want to have attendants. We didn't want to have things on the floor. We wanted customers to be able to have a user-friendly car wash that was still like the tunnels. Mm-hmm. So we developed this, what's called an express tunnel, where you would drive in, it would talk to you, it would tell you what to do, and then once the wash part is finished, you drive out and it finishes the rest of the wash. When I talk to customers, I would tell them, I said, well, the first wash is 2-stage. It washes, you drive out, it dries.
Yeah.
This one's a 5-stage. You wash it, you drive through wax, you drive through spot free, you drive through wheel shine, and then you drive through the dryers. So the customer itself learns how to do all that, and it's pretty simple.
Okay. Nice.
And that's the way we want it. We want it to be simplified versus the old style where a customer would have to drive in and they would drive up on what's called a treadle plate. Yep. And that would trigger the wash. This thing would actually, you would drive into a beam, and if you drove too far, it just tell you to back up. Yeah. And we've always had trouble with new customers, especially on the touchless side driving into that tire treadle because they think they're in far enough and they're not.
Yeah.
And you have to get in position. The new style, the new technology actually tells you, stop, you're going too far, back up.
Yeah.
So it works pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. If you're the customer and you're pulling in, it's a pretty unsettling experience if you don't do it all the time to like go up and then you're like, oh, my car shouldn't go like this. Oh, here I am.
Exactly.
Now I'm coming down.
And that's exactly what the old style treadle plates would do.
Yep.
You would drive up on a hump on one side of your car, and that didn't feel quite right.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't know, do I go further? Do I stop? And there's a light there in front of you, but they hit this thing and they just want to stop. So when we did the drawings on the 65-footer, we didn't want anything on the floor. We wanted wide open, so the customer just feel free driving their car in there.
Yeah.
And it works pretty well.
So I'm hearing you talk a lot about kind of making things better for the customers, right? Keeping it simple.
Yes.
What are some other things that you do in your business kind of day to day to like make sure you're keeping it simple for them?
It's like one thing I pretty straightforward on, and always talk to women, and this is just my thing. I feel like if I'm well lit and everything is wide open, everything is clean, women will come.
Yep.
Men pretty much will go anywhere. If you make it safe, clean, clear for women, and well lit, plenty of cameras, women tend to they feel better showing up to an establishment and washing their car on their own.
Yes, yeah, so, that goes beyond simple, right? It's like, it's a simple concept, right? Keep your wash clean and people will actually come to it.
Yes, keep your wash clean.
Yeah.
But also well lit and everything open and plenty of cameras, not hidden cameras. I want them to be able to be seen.
Yeah, they need to know that they're being filmed.
They need to know they're being, yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to me, it makes running the business better.
So talk to me a little bit about, obviously you have all the standard chemistry, right, in your wash. You've got your soaps, you've got your high pH, your low pH, your drying agents. All the things are there. You've added some ceramic to the mix. Talk to me about kind of what made you even go down that path. Why were you looking at ceramic?
Well, ceramics, I hope I get this right, but there used to be what's called nanopolymers that came out years ago, and everybody's talking about the nano, and then here along comes ceramics.
Yep.
Ceramics was actually a game changer. It truly is. I use what's called a Mirror Low and a Mirror Carnauba, and also I use the Mirror Tire and Mirror Dry.
Okay.
All those chemicals together, and I learned this through talking with chemical company Arcadian, that in order for polishes to actually adhere to the car, you actually have to lower the pH level.
Yeah.
That's where Mirror Loads comes in. Once the detergents go on and everything like that, you have to drop the pH. You apply the Mirror Low, which gets into the cracks and crevices, those swirl marks people are always talking about on their cars that they don't want there. That's what Mirror Low takes care of, and then here comes the Carnauba that's applied after that, and it's an amazing thing to see once you see those cars coming out the other end, and especially when you apply something like a Mirror Dry, and as soon as it hits the dry, you see this sheeting action that happens. Large sheets of water just starts coming off the car. Actually, it was a story because I'm at the wash and I'm talking to customers all the time.
Yeah.
One of my customers pulled out of the wash, pulled onto the side, and he normally comes and dries his car off, and he sits there and do little detailing and things like that. Well, he came up and started talking to me, and I'm standing there, I'm looking at his car, and I'm talking to him. I'm thinking, okay, is this thing going to have spots on it? Or what? Because he usually dries it off. So we're sitting there talking, and he turns around and starts. He said, "Eric, can you answer me a question?" I said, "What is it, Bill?" He said, why, when I wash my car here at your car wash, and I come out, my windows, my chrome, and my paint are all shiny with no spots on them. And I said, Bill, it's simple. Soft water and the right chemical combination.
Yep.
And it just takes care of it. Another story. I have a Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah.
So I do extra stuff to make sure these things are going to work right. I test them myself.
Yeah.
So on the mirror tire, ceramic mirror tire beyond ceramic, I applied the mirror tire onto my Jeep tires in the friction wash.
Yep.
And I said, okay, I'm going to see if this actually will stay on through a wash. I ran my Jeep through the touchless side 3 times before it came off. So when they say this stuff will bond,
yeah,
and it has lasting, it absolutely does.
It's on there.
It's
on there.
Beautiful shine. It's an unbelievable shine. Yes.
So talk to me about just a little bit about how that has impacted your business, right? I mean, you didn't necessarily have a major problem. I mean,
right.
you were putting out a good car, but you've added ceramic to that mix. Mm-hmm. What's that doing for you?
Well, see, that's the thing about the car wash business. To us as operators, we see the cars come out, the customers think, no, it's fine. But we look at the differences and we see the details. And we say, well, that's really not clean. Let's try to do that again. What this product has actually done is taken that maybe thought or away. When it comes out the other end, it's pretty much clean. We can see it, the customer sees it, and they don't worry about their car streaking or it's have swirl marks on it because this ceramic seems to take care of all that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to really this idea of what you said earlier, which is like get the right chemistry, and you're going to have a whole different level of peace of mind. Right?
That's the main thing, and I've talked to other car wash owners and operators, and they have these different products, these different problems going on. And normally, if one calls me and says, "Okay, I've been using this product," and suddenly it's doing something different. Most of the time, if it worked in the beginning, then something in your chemistry has changed. Your water temperature may have changed. Your hardness in your water may have changed. Something has changed on that part of it. So it's so important, and it's another thing that people don't realize, that if you don't have soft water, now your product is fighting against the hardness of the water and also trying to clean your car.
Right. So it's just not going to do as good of a job.
It's not going to do as good a job.
It can't.
It can't.
It's science.
It's science. It just can't.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I love about the ceramic and the chemicals now. A lot of people will still call them soaps.
Yeah.
But I don't call them soap. It's a chemical reaction to dirt now.
Yeah.
That the industry is in, which makes the job a lot easier.
Yeah.
It does a lot better job now.
So talk to me before we get out of here. I'm going to let you off the hook here in just a minute. But
all right.
I like to give people one thing that they can kind of walk away with, one piece of advice. So now that you've been in this industry for a minute or two, go back to before you got into it. What's one piece of advice you'd give yourself, your pre-car wash self? What would you tell yourself as you were getting ready to get in this industry?
I don't know an answer to that, because I don't know if there could be one thing or two things that I would. Well, there actually is. You don't get a day off. That it's not a bad thing to say it like that, but at one point in this I realized you don't get a day off. You're connected there.
Yeah.
But it's still you're dealing with customers, and when you have good customers, it's not like work. That old saying, when you're doing something you like, it's not like work. It's really not like work.
Yeah. So really, you have every day off.
Yeah. It's just not. It's really not like work.
Yeah.
But you have those days just like any other job, but most of the time it's smooth sailing, and I have fun doing it.
I love it. I love it.
Because I talk to people.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yep. Yep. And you have the right products in place to produce the right results that you want to produce
Yes.
for your customers.
See, that's one thing that I didn't have in the beginning. I didn't know a lot about it. Making sure that you did have those things in place. And that's one thing I've learned. If you have the right things in place, it makes everything easier because you don't have to worry about, okay, why is this doing this or why is this doing that?
Yeah.
Mainly in all car washes, if you have the equipment, you got to have the product. If
Yep.
you have the product, you got to have the water. And when you have all those things in place, and the chemistry is mainly the important part, because it makes or breaks.
Well, and
People come to the car wash to clean their car.
right. Right.
And if you don't have the right chemicals, it's not going to do the job.
Well, and by having that peace of mind, right, you get this opportunity to focus on other parts of your business,
Yes.
right? And like you can do the customer interaction, you can do the things
Yes.
that are really going to make a difference when
Absolutely.
you start looking at, oh, there's a wash coming in right next door, or there's one coming in across the street. How am I going to be different from that? Well, because I know that I'm going to produce a great car every time.
Every time.
I don't have to worry about it, and
Yep.
now I can focus on building relationships.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly it.
I love it. I love it. Eric, I have to say thank you so much for spending some time today. I really appreciate
Absolutely.
you. Yeah, it's one thing to have a story, it's another thing to tell it. And by you sharing it, I think everybody here is going to have
I hope so.
have some learning and some education, and hopefully they will get a day off.
Maybe they'll get a day off.
Maybe
but
they'll
if
get
you
a day
don't,
off. Maybe they'll get a
You're
day
still
off.
going to have fun.
Yeah, you're still going to have fun.
You're still going to have fun.
Well, hey, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Again, we were sharing customer stories here with Arcadian Services here in Las Vegas. Come by and see us. We're in booth 445. Friends, we'll see you real soon.